Dive into a tale of deception and shattered trust that will have you questioning every stranger in your home. That's the gripping heart of the remake of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, where a seemingly perfect nanny turns a family's world upside down. Plot: this psychological thriller, helmed by director Michelle Garza-Cervera, features Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Caitlin Morales, a polished suburban mother who hires a new nanny named Polly Murphy, portrayed by Maika Monroe. But as Caitlin soon uncovers, Polly is far from who she pretends to be, setting the stage for a battle of wits and wills within the household. Review: many of us fondly recall the 1992 original, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, for Rebecca de Mornay's unforgettable, over-the-edge portrayal that set the standard for "You Betrayed Me" roles in cinema. It's surprising it took over 3 decades for a reboot, but for those fretting it'll mirror the original too closely, fear not. While the core idea of an intruder woman aiming to unravel a family's life remains, much else has been reworked. I admired the original, but wasn't obsessed with it, and these fresh twists won me over. The story centers on young mother Caitlin, who welcomes Polly as her nanny. Polly cunningly maneuvers her way into the family's dynamics, isolating Caitlin and driving her to the brink of paranoia as she schemes to usurp Caitlin's position. Caitlin's spouse, brought to life by Raul Castillo, comes across as somewhat detached and overly eager to dismiss his wife's concerns as mere overreactions. Meanwhile, their daughter craves a more lenient parental figure and bonds quickly with Polly. Sponsored content. What truly elevates this film is the stellar acting from its 2 main stars. Maika Monroe masterfully shifts from charming innocence to sheer madness in a heartbeat, a role that lets her showcase her villainous side after years of more sympathetic characters. It's a refreshing change, and I couldn't get enough of her unleashed intensity. Mary Elizabeth Winstead excels in depicting Caitlin's "is this all in my head" turmoil, striking a perfect balance that keeps viewers guessing. Their eventual head-to-head confrontation is a delight, especially since both actresses have been pivotal in horror movies. Watching these underrated talents clash is pure cinematic joy. And this is the part most people miss. The film stumbles narratively in spots, resorting to cliched horror elements instead of leaning into its greatest strength, the performances. It could have thrived by focusing solely on the psychological duel between Monroe and Winstead, which would have amplified the tension. Personally, I felt the subplot with Martin Starr's character diluted the mystery unnecessarily. Plus, several scenes seem engineered to hit standard horror checkboxes, think jump scares or eerie atmospheres, without deepening the plot. Was this studio-driven pressure to amp up the scares, or a creative choice? Either way, it sometimes overshadows the film's subtler, grounded aspects. Visually, the movie impresses with its clever use of windows and mirrors, symbolizing the themes of reflection and hidden truths, like how a mirror might show a distorted version of reality, much as Polly distorts the family's perception. The cinematography commands attention at key moments, drawing you in. Admittedly, the pace is leisurely, building slowly like a slow-burn thriller. For beginners, this means it doesn't rush into action, but lets suspense simmer, much like how Rear Window or Wait Until Dark unfold gradually to heighten unease. I stayed engaged despite the slower tempo. Avoiding spoilers, I must say the final twist feels awkwardly appended, like an afterthought that disrupts the film's otherwise cohesive tone, reminiscent of those frustrating horror endings that prioritize shock over substance. But here's where it gets controversial. Despite these hiccups, I thoroughly enjoyed The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Sure, there are exaggerated beats, but at its core, it's a realistic exploration of one woman's campaign to dismantle another's existence, a theme that echoes real-life betrayals and manipulations. Monroe and Winstead deliver compelling turns, with Maika's role stealing the spotlight thanks to its dual nature, while both actresses infuse every scene with palpable suspense. They deserved stronger backup from supporting roles to truly elevate the drama. Yet, fans tuning in for the showdown between these 2 powerhouse performers won't leave disappointed. What do you think? Should horror remakes innovate boldly, even at the risk of alienating fans of the original, or stick faithfully to the source material? Is the ending a brilliant capstone or an unnecessary add-on? And does prioritizing performances over plot twists make for a better thriller? Share your opinions in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is streaming on Hulu on October 22nd, 2025. 7.